What's the amount?
$100,000 is the budget.
You collected 102,
We collected almost 103.
103%.
I can get back with you and give you
Okay.
a detail on that. if
And
you don't
your
mind.
other financing source is also 100% plus 115, or 100.15%.
Yes, so that's, that includes, some of the FEMA money.
Okay.
We have, no, excuse me, miscellaneous is FEMA. That includes sale of assets, things of that nature. And Renee's been very diligent, as y'all know, about selling property, so we have really collected on those.
Okay. Then the miscellaneous has a negative collection.
That's that FEMA money, we still haven't got it.
FEMA, okay.
I'm still fighting with Betty, with the state, trying to get that money in here.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah,
One comment. One question I got, when we was talking about sales tax revenue online and project to where it's at, is there any way that we can find out what that indicator is, what kind of cost
Online?
of money you're talking about?
You talking about what's online, or are you talking about what we're actually collecting?
What's online and what you collect, both.
Right now, we've got an average of about 6.5% higher than what we were this time last year, across the board. Now, online, it doesn't give us a breakdown of what the online sales are.
How much would that represent, that 6%, that's what I'm saying, in dollars amounts?
Oh, it was about,
But at the same, Mr. Chairman, at the same time, you recall we had a decline last year, so
Right.
we're really trying to get back to, in essence,
Where we
what we
were.
were year before last.
So that's why I was trying to figure out
And a lot of that-
where we at as far as catching up to what we broke.
well, if you
we
remember
get-
last year, we
we're,
had that huge, that business in the county that asked for a large refund.
Yeah.
At the very end of the year.
And so that hurt us about $200,000.
So I'm asking, are we, well, the question I'm asking, are we regenerating to get to that point where it's gonna be a break even? Or
We
what
hope
looking
so.
at?
I mean, right now, it's tracking in a positive direction.
And you got to remember, we're only through the month of November as far as for sales.
Yeah, so we only have, what, 5 months, so it's hard to make it.
Okay.
Mr. Miller?
Okay, and also on the water department, investment earnings,
Yes, sir.
1,151.66%.
That is the interest that they have collected above what they had budgeted for. So they had only budgeted $1,500,
Mm-hmm.
but they collected $17,000.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. The second item I would like to discuss with you, as you know, I discussed it last week at the planning session, is about upgrading the AS400, well, not upgrading the AS400, but upgrading the New World package. I have, after Mr. Peterson's comments and some different things, we decided to go back and revisit the slide, and I have updated the information. The one-time cost for this software is gonna be $93,240, plus an estimated travel time of $36,000. So one-time expenses will be $129,240. Our reoccurring support on the .NET will be $12,177. To keep what we currently have, we would have to purchase a new AS400, and I've been working with Robin on that, and he's gotten a quote of $56,000. The annual maintenance for that would be $10,000, so that would be $66,000 for that. And then our current software support would be approximately $35,000. So if you take the one-time net, which would be the $129 less the $56 that we would have to buy, that would be a $73,000 total. Then the support, the $12,000 less the $45 would be a net savings of $32,000. So it would be a net cost right now of $40,417. And based on projections, it looks like that it would pay for itself in less than 3 years.
Where I come from, that's called a no-brainer.
This upgrades us to the 5-year thing we're talking about. Too.
Yes, sir.
For the next 5 years.
I would like for y'all to consider that. We would like to have it up and running. They told us it would take about 3 months to get it.
I make a motion that we accept this proposal by Ms. Cole.
I'll second. Calm down. We got a second by Mr. Gooden. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Advisory Board appointment, Economic Development Commission.
Motion to appoint Wayne Green.
Got a motion for Lane Green. That's Bladen Builder Supply. Somebody do.
Was this the one, is the name already on here, or somebody different?
Got a second from Mr. Good.
So we know. Okay, it doesn't matter.
No, there has been information, correspondence has gone out to the board about that.
Yeah, like a month or so ago.
Right.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Bladen County Nursing Home Advisory Committee 2.
Motion to reappoint.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Peterson to reappoint, a second by Mr. Privet. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? So moved. Juvenile Crime Prevention Council Advisory Board 4 votes.
Motion to appoint the full recommended.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Peterson to appoint the 4 recommended, second by Dr. Moon Goins. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Advisory Board, appointments for the consideration of March 23rd meeting, keep Bladen Pt2. Individual delegations who wish to address commissioners. Matters of interest to commission. County Manager, Mr. Greg Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to review the calendar with you and point out on the 29th of this month, which is a Saturday, early voting ends. The NACO Legislative Conference begins in Washington DC, and that evening at 6 p.m., the Bladen County Hospital Foundation will have its annual gala at Blue Mill Vineyards. Moving over to March, the NACO conference continues to the 4th. On Monday, the 2nd at 8 a.m., there's a prayer service here. On Tuesday, the 3rd, just want to remind you that's the primary election day. Also, that morning at 8:30, the Bladen County Ministerial Association meets at the hospital in the solarium. On Monday, the 9th, at 5 p.m., the Health and Human Services Advisory Committee meets. That evening at 6:30, the Board of County Commissioners meets. So the March meetings, just to remind you, are on the 2nd Monday and the 4th Monday. On Tuesday, the 10th, at 12 noon, the chamber meeting will be held at the, and actually, I think that date may be changing, so I will come back to that, but I'll revisit that later. But I think that meeting is moving to the 17th.
Which one is that?
The chamber
Okay.
meeting, if I'm not mistaken. We'll confirm that. Also, that afternoon at 2 p.m., the Bladen County Substance Use Disorder Task Force meets at the Health Department. On Wednesday, the 11th at 5:30, the Diabetes Forum continues at Baldwin Branch Missionary Baptist Church. On Thursday, the 5th at 12 noon, the JCPC meeting will be held at the Health Department in the conference room there. On the 21st, which is a Saturday, the Clarkson Farm Fest fundraiser will take place from 6 until 12, 6 p.m. until 12 a.m. On Monday, the 23rd at 6 p.m., there's a special meeting regarding the budget. Also that evening, as I mentioned earlier, the board meets. On Friday, the 27th, at the Graham Agricultural Museum's 28th Annual Old Fashioned Planters Day event will take place in Ammon, and that continues into Saturday. There are no questions regarding the calendar. Moving to item B, the board is requested to consider adopting a resolution in support of naming the bridges located on North Carolina 87, north of Dublin, spanning Reedy Meadow Swamp, in name of Ron Allen, that you all remember, was a firefighter with Tar Heel Fire Department, and he lost his life for a
Motion to
while.
approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. Gooden. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
7 and 2.
The thing,
You get that, Madam Clerk?
I'd like to ask one thing on this, and I know things are going on with how we name and stuff, but with it being unanimous consent of all members of the board, I'm trying to get my head around how things are happening with this, so that we can be all on the same accord with what's going on. And the policy from the state says it has to be unanimous.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to figure out, we got into this conversation a little while ago about how we were getting things going on with stuff. And I don't want to be confusion, but at the same time, I'm just looking at the flow of how things are going. And see.
Let me make a comment.
You know, I don't know how this works. I'm just trying to figure out how is it working.
First of all, we voted a 9-0 vote to do the highway after, and the state went back and made the revision and recommended the bridge.
Right.
So we already voted 9-0 to do the.
It's
whole
still-
That was on
thing.
April
The what?
15th.
The what?
We had voted 9-0, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir,
Mr.
that's
Martin,
correct.
On this.
April 15th, 2019 is.
Yeah, April the 15th to do the highway after, but the state has come back and revised it for the bridge on it, correct me
Right.
if I'm wrong.
No, that's right. And that information's in the agenda.
So I wanna know, Carter, why you voted against this and voted for it last time?
The only
This is
thing-
something that we've
the
already
the only
went through.
thing- The only thing I'm saying is, when we sitting out here doing stuff of this nature, I'm just trying to figure out the policy and what the rules are with the state. The state said it has to be unanimous.
Let's move on.
And if it's not gonna be unanimous, then you can't send a resolution up.
Votes 7-2.
So the resolution either state is 7-2. No, that's not unanimous, 7-2, unanimous is everybody.
Talk, Mr. Brett, I don't want to
Yes,
get.
I proceed, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item C is, the board is requested to consider approving an agreement with Catlin
Motion
Engineers.
to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Mr. Good.
Yeah, I did.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
I know, it's okay, but they know.
D,
And moving to item D, the board is requested to consider amending, or actually revising the charitable contribution funding policy and application. It's really minimal in terms of the wording change, but the effect is important. Just to give you an example, and I know we discussed this briefly at the meeting Wednesday, but it does a couple of things. First, it says, it deletes a provision that states that applications that are incomplete will be deemed ineligible for funding and will be returned to the nonprofit agency for explanation of rejection. The second item it does, and this is really the primary, it eliminates the requirement for a contract. And the purpose for this is, Mr. Chairman, as you all recall, the maximum amount of funding in recent years has been $1,095 per charitable organization. So with that limited amount of funding, it seems like no contract really is necessary. If the amount increases to the point that the board determines that contract's necessary, then we certainly can come back and revisit it.
pleasure of the board.
Motion to accept recommendation.
I said.
Motion to accept the recommendation, second by Dr. Mungorns. Any further discussion?
Question, at this time, this will go out to everyone for next year or for this year?
For this upcoming,
Next.
this upcoming year, yes.
Because it goes in fact, you said, February, so that means all of them will get these now to do their due.
Yes, ma'am, if
Good,
it's
okay,
approved.
and so others can apply this time.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's correct.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And then the last item is, this is a clarification in our policy. To create consistency, we have one statement that's inconsistent with another. And what we're requesting the board to do is to eliminate a statement in section 9, under workers' compensation and leave with pay, to state that an employee on workers' compensation will not accrue sick leave, while employees on leave with pay shall continue to accrue sick leave. A person on workers' comp does not receive payment from the county,
Why?
because they're receiving payment from workers' comp, from the
So
insurance.
why do they not, that's why I sent you an email, you said she'll send something, but,
We did, and I resent it again to you. She sent it this morning.
oh, I guess, I didn't get it.
No, well, that was on
Motion
the,
to accept recommendation.
I'm still talking, please get going.
Don't you-
I was just saying, that's why I asked you, is it just a law or legal, because,
oh, I thought you were asking about the charitable law.
no, it says workers' comp, that's what it's about.
Okay.
So it means that you said it was another policy, we already have it in place, and this was a contradiction of it.
Right,
That's what you're telling me?
that's exactly, under sick leave, it states that you will not receive, you will not accrue benefits if you're on workers' comp. This had not been deleted.
Okay,
And
that
so
was
we
my
want to,
question.
we want to clarify that,
Okay.
so that there's no inconsistency.
Okay, thank you, that was my question.
We got a motion by Mr. Peterson.
Well, now, was there a conflict with the state or federal regulation in regards to this?
I don't know that they're, not to my knowledge, I mean, in terms of not providing,
Right, not, with them not accruing, sick leave.
that's been the county's policy, if I'm not mistaken, that's been the county's policy for a long
So
time.
there was no conflict with, federal or state law.
No, sir, no.
Because normally workman's comp is because they got injured on the job.
That's correct. And the compensation they receive is approximately 2/3, 66% or so of their
Yes.
pay, but it's not taxed, so the net is
Oh, okay.
close.
Okay.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson,
Doc-
second
I
by
already
Mr.
did.
Gooden.
All right, you did that already.
What's that?
You already did that, and I second.
We hadn't called for discussion yet, so we never got to second.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Gooden, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Any correspondence? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Gooden, second by Mr. Bullock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.